Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Hey guys, how y'all doing? How y'all doing this Friday? Thank you so much for the $20. Say it louder. I very much appreciate it. And thank you for the 20 gifted memberships, Motoman Max, Motoman MX. And congratulations to those of you that got those. Oh my goodness. I just realized that our members only Monday live will be Memorial Day, so we should probably move it to the 27th. I didn't realize that. We should probably move it. Hello. How are you guys doing? We're going to talk about some conspiracy stuff today because there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Apparently, the Goncalves family page was reported for impersonation. That's what I'm being told now in the comments and things. Impersonation. That makes no sense. It's definitely the Goncalveses on that page. So the fact that Facebook took it down for impersonation, if that's actually true, that doesn't make sense to me. That just doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. I don't understand how that happened because it literally is them. We know for a fact it's them behind, the page. I know, oh my gosh. And the fact that, look, literally, guys, I retweeted somebody saying something about it being taken down after somebody commented it. That's the only reason I even knew that it happened is because somebody commented the damn thing. And I went and searched it myself. And sure enough, I was like, oh, it's not showing up. That's wild. Yeah, I retweeted it. So me retweeting about something that was already done is me trying to get people in groves to go over there and do something, but it's already been done. It was very confusing, the accusation. The accusation was insane. Actually, wild, insane. Thank you for the $9.99. I've got something to say. Let's go, y'all. Conspiracy theory nuts. LOL. I love our peeps that are good at analytical and non-emotional thought and are willing to wait for whole truth. Now, let's get to a good time. Yes. Okay. Now, I will admit that whenever I get into certain subjects or start talking about certain things, especially at a certain point, when I can just get into the flow of a conversation, I'll let my emotions go, and I probably get a little bit too heated for a lot of people to be able to handle, but that just means that you don't like my approach. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It doesn't mean that I'm a liar. And that's something that I noticed a lot today in the comments, is that some of these people that were coming over here kept trying to act as if I'm just like this liar about things. And I'm like, okay, but from where? I've been waiting all day for somebody to actually say something in the comments that I lied about, something that I've given false information about. I get stuff wrong. I come out here and talk about the things that I get wrong, like everyone else with a brain normally does. If you miss it, not my problem. It's out there, I promise, if you go and look for it. So a lot of this stuff just doesn't make a lot of sense, especially especially when you think about the interviews that Steve Goncalves was doing right before the Dateline episode. He was talking about some things that we know that certain creators here do discuss, like the King Gonzo stuff, the crypto stuff, him being some sort of, all the things. Christy mentioned those things in the interview that they did on the interview room while Steve just sat there. And I mean, she looked upset. She did. She looked upset about it. But how come like the people that aren't really pushing that kind of stuff are the ones on these people's hit list? That's the really questionable part. And a lot of people were commenting that, like, the people that are really pushing the theories where they think that Steve has a bigger involvement actually in what happened, they're not really being attacked here, which I find wild. They seem to be going after the ones that like deep dive into the documents and stuff like that. Some dig a little deeper than others into things, but yeah, absolutely insane, the things that are happening today. Absolutely wild. And I'm just like, for one, if I would have ever reported that page for anything, it definitely wouldn't have been a false accusation like impersonation. It's definitely them. So that doesn't make sense. Like, I'm actually confuzzled how that actually worked. That doesn't make sense. And the timing is interesting. I know that Shannon Gray's name was like slapped to the end of the document about the hearing for the 21st about the role of the victims in a different font and all the things. I really do feel like the meeting was supposed to be about Dylan and Bethany, and then all this crazy shit happened and the judge had to address it. So since they were already meeting, he was just like, we're just going to handle this at the end. And that's whenever they added Shannon Gray. That's how I felt that it went down. I don't think that he was supposed to originally be on there. I think he had to be added for convenience so they didn't have to schedule something else. And that's where, discussions happened. But that's why the reporting situation makes no sense, honestly. The coincidence and the timing of that, to the fact that, again, okay, this isn't something that's being made up. You can go and listen to the damn things yourself. The 4 interviews that Steve Goncalves did before Dateline, he literally verbatim repeated everything that we ended up hearing from Dateline. So he either had something to do with the information that Dateline had, or he still had some sort of involvement in a way that Dateline was able to give him the information that they planned on speaking about, because it was way too much the same. It was way too much the same. Even to the point to where we could instantly tell which fact that he was repeating that he actually repeated incorrectly based off of the way that Dateline actually told us. The one instance that speaks the most is the Google searches that he's claiming that Bryan Kohberger apparently Googled or searched something about the Idaho student murders or University of Idaho murders before the 911 call, but then comes Dateline and they're like, oh, 11:16 at like 9 something in the morning is the first time that they have on this apparently now real leaked information about the first time he ever looked up the murder case on any device is on 11/16. So even then, it was so the same, so verbatim the same, that it was instantly easy to tell which fact Steve got wrong. So the timing of the hearing, Shannon Gray's name being slapped on there in a font that doesn't match, like it was just hurried and rushed and last minute, and then the page coming down, the whole reporting thing instantly made no sense to me, honestly, because I felt like they were made to, unless law enforcement has a way of reporting things a certain way, or I don't know how well the government can make a social media platform lie. Can like the feds go in there and actually remove the page, but then say like, no, you're going to send them something saying somebody reported their page for this. So they don't know. Because I don't know. I don't trust anything. Especially nothing with 3 letters. Thank you for the 1999 Rose Shields. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just don't understand it. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't understand the impersonation part. It's definitely the Goncalveses. It's all of them pretty much. Like, I mean, I don't know how many of them have access to it, but I know that in the beginning it was like Steve, Olivia, Christy's sister, and then they had a private investigator, and I'm pretty sure Shannon. No, they're saying, yeah, they're saying that okay. Olivia apparently put a comment in something claiming that the page was reported for impersonation, and Facebook found that that was true, and that's why the Facebook page got taken down. But that doesn't make sense to me because it's definitely them. I mean, yeah, I know for some reason they keep acting like the people that are reading documents are the ones that are like so against everything, but all we're really against is the fact that for some reason Steve keeps wanting to come out here and not tell the truth. And he's coming out here like in the middle of repeating all the stuff that we heard from Dateline and like then admitting, oh yeah, the whole thing I said about him touching the King Road Wi-Fi, yeah, I had that wrong, sorry. So there's people out here that have been like repeating that in their theories over and over and over about, oh, he touched their Wi-Fi. You can't do anything about that. There's nothing else that explains that. He was close enough to touch their Wi-Fi. Now here comes Steve 2.5 years later. Oh yeah, I'm Mr. IT at a hospital, big IT man, but I had that wrong. Sorry. What? He said that on Daniel's interview that he did. That's wild. You're supposed to know about that kind of stuff, Steve. Like you sat there in the same instance of telling us that and said that y'all had to do all of this like this research to like make sure that he didn't have a secondary device that he could use to like mask his his information or his location. But then we're supposed to believe that you just, oh, sorry about getting the Wi-Fi thing wrong. Like, I don't believe you. Yeah, that sounds like you like purposely got it wrong. Yeah, he did. I know. Hey, Jameson. Thank you for the heads up earlier. Yeah. I wish somebody would. Hello, hello, hello. I know. See, and that's what I thought too. Because impersonation doesn't make sense. It's really them behind that page. Like, I will vouch for that. Like, even after all of this crazy stuff, I will vouch for the fact that I know for a fact it is them really behind that page. It's not him being impersonated. That's absolutely wild. I just don't get that, how that's... I know, yeah, he's wild. Did you post it somewhere up here? Oh, man. Sent you pics on Twitter from the page. Oh, yeah, no, I have a bunch too. No, I've been keeping them all. I have like a folder. I appreciate everybody who's been sending me stuff. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know, it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. So you guys saw my thumbnail. I didn't even think to like push the stupid the picture up. I should have actually had the picture up somewhere. You know what? I'm going to pull up Harsh's video and I'm just going to like pause it on where he has the list because that's where it was. And Danny, thank you to Danny for sending me the screenshot earlier because I was like, there's no way, because I'd already done the video that I posted earlier about this stupidity. And then Danny sent me this screenshot. He was watching Harsh's video and I was like, is that a freaking list? Are you freaking for real right now? Harsh was like, first thing I've won in 45 years. I thought it was hilarious. You gotta laugh because like this is wild. Like these people is cray cray. Like I might be a lot of things, but y'all are really, like y'all are threatening people and threaten to like put their information out and saying that you hope all these crazy things happen to them while sitting here and acting like you're like these justice warriors. Like you're literally turning into the thing that you say that you want to see executed. I could never live that life. I could never live that much of a hypocritical life. Like Jameis. Okay. Let me see. Let's see. Where's this thing at? I have his video pulled up. This is just crazy. I was like, I know I'm not third. That's hilarious. Okay. And On Point True Crime. I think I know who that is. I don't see him ever really saying anything crazy. If that's who I think it is. I actually like didn't even like look because like this is the stupidest stuff ever. Let me pull this up. You gotta laugh. This is just so funny. We actually needed something to sort of like relax about on a Friday night. So I'm actually like not even all that mad. It's just so crazy. Okay, let's see. Let me get this where I can see it better. Okay. So this person basically is calling us a bunch of vile conspiracy theory spewing content creators. And I'm like, bro, from where? Please explain to me what conspiracy theory that I have come out here and like spread around. I have made comments over and over and over and over and over again about how I don't understand how Steve Goncalves could sit there and take photos with JLR with his arm around him whenever JLR first came out here and started talking about how Maddie and Kaylee were like sugar babies and doing stuff like that for money. Like, hello, how can you sit there and be buddy-buddy with somebody who came out here and had, you know, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people thinking that your daughter and her bestie were, you know, SEX workers in a way. And you're just like grinning with your arm around it. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This list belongs to somebody. I don't know who the frick this is because I mean, actually, I can't say I don't know who the frick this is because whoever this is uses this exact same icon here on this channel. And I know for a fact I've already blocked this moron on my whatever. At least I think I have, because I know like recently I blocked somebody who's using that exact icon. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Hold on. I don't want to skip you guys. Hold on a second. I know I'm in a thingy. Thank you for the $49.99 Rose Shields. You're always so supportive. I very much appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for the $10. I blame it all on Jeff H. and Gray Hughes. I don't pay attention to Jeff really. He goes, honestly, I feel like he's, you know what? This is not even about him. Not even about him. Not even about him. I don't even know. Gray Hughes is another one. I feel like Gray Hughes is somebody who talks to Steve and, you know, whatever. I don't care if people talk to people, but just the way that they like come about like doing the stuff and how they don't like tell him the truth about things, especially with how his behaviors are. It's actually like really quite wild. On Point True Crime, I don't know. If that is On Point True Crime, then he can literally go to, you know, wherever these people are saying, because he's one of those people that talk shit about my child too and her status because he's absolutely dumb. So he can go to, you know, the place on fire where Lucy Morningstar's dad, you know, is from. I love that show. I might just watch it all the way over again. Gray Hughes is the biggest donkey face. You so right. I really can't. Like, he's so mean to people that even support him. Like, I'm mean to people who are mean to me, but I'm not mean to people who are not mean to me. And he's like mean to people that are giving him money. He downs people and like begs people to give. He's something else. Something else. Yeah, like, and that's a whole nother thing. Like, there's channels that go in on the Goncalves' kids, the ones that were minors at the time. I was one of the ones who came out here talking crap about, I think it was Newsweek, took a picture of Dylan's little sister who was a minor at the time and it was going everywhere like it was Dylan. I was one of the ones who came out and chastised them for that. We don't play that here. See, like, there's a medium. You can have an opposite opinion and you can go against the narrative and still, like, you know, well, there's a line. There's a line. Well, you know, because I'm trying to not have to be so mean, honestly. I feel like I could be a lot worse. That's what I don't understand about a lot of the people that complain. The stuff that I come out here and like act a certain way about is, to me, stuff that should be important. Like, I might get a little carried out of hand because, like I said, like, if I get going, like, I'll just get going. All right. Like, it just goes. It just is what it is. But I feel like I fight the right fights. And maybe people don't like the way that I do it, but at least I'm just like not sitting back and just not. Because like even in this situation, and even whenever I would come out and talk about like the stuff that I've gone through and things with my ex and stuff like that, people would be like, why are you even talking about it? It's just giving him attention. Okay, well, if I don't talk about it and something happens, then no one's going to know. No one's going to know. So if something crazy happens to my page, why wouldn't I come out and tell you people like what's going on with the crazy people? Like, why wouldn't I? So that other creators can know to like be on the lookout too, because these people are absolutely out of their minds. I mean, damn. I come out and warn you about like spammers and stuff like that. I do videos all the time about scam companies out here and bad sponsors. Why wouldn't I warn you about this kind of stuff? Jeebus. Just wild. Okay. Yeah. So apparently we're a bunch of conspiracy people, whatever. I wanted to talk about the conspiracy theories that are actually going around in this case. Not to say that they're conspiracy theories, because, you know, there's really only like a small percentage of things that I've actually heard that Let me figure out how I want to put this. There's a lot of theories I don't agree with. But there are quite a few of those theories that I don't agree with that I definitely can understand the reason why people see it that way. The other ones I sort of fear for the people and the people around the people that come up with some of the ones that I hear, because it's not that they just sound so far-fetched, it's that they're so based in stuff that can't be proven, stuff that no one has heard before ever, and they're the only ones saying it, and they're sort of just like honing in on that without any actual substantial proof, while also bringing a lot of most likely innocent people into it because they just think that it's a deep dive, and really it's not. It's just a rabbit hole that goes nowhere. There's a lot of that out there too. So it's not like I don't understand where these people are like coming from in a way, but the fact that they think that they can just get together and like mob control people and accuse people of doing things that they haven't done while there's actual problems here. Like all of that energy could be going towards like getting the truth actually told, getting all this stuff actually like figured out, not all of this that has nothing to do with the truth. I just don't understand it because again, they literally turned into like the thing because they want to come out and they want to harass you and they want to stalk you and they want to do all this cyberbullying stuff. All the same things that they're basically claiming that Bryan is doing, right? All the things they're saying that he's guilty of, they're turning into that. Well, really hoping that they could watch some triggers go. It's just very odd behavior. Humans are strange. Humans are very, 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 very odd. So I am going to pull up. Where is it? My community post and see what you guys talked about. And we're going to talk about them seriously. Just to see, whatever. And if I think it's really far-fetched, I'll say, hey, that's really crazy far-fetched. If I think that maybe there's some, substance, if I could see something to it, I'll tell you. If there's something on the list that, we don't see that you want to discuss, put it in the chat and we'll talk about it. Let me see if I can get this pulled up. Okay. Let me do newest first and then go down to the bottom. I had to help my oldest son fry some hot wings, so I haven't been able to sit down and even like look at half of these. Whew. Y'all be commenting. Okay. See you there, Robin. Okay. I think this is a recent one. We're going to start with this one right here. Let me get this a little bit changed up so you guys can see it. It always, every single time I try to share something, it always ends up changing. Like, oh my gosh, it's not going to let me make it bigger. Hold on. Work with me. Okay. Is that good? I'm tiny. Hold on a minute. Yeah, somebody said that earlier. They're like, keep it up and they're going to say that you were there that night. I was like, probably these crazy people, I can't even afford to go 30 minutes out of town on a road trip, much less all the way up there. But they'd try. They would try. Absolutely wild. Okay. I think this one is newer. I think this one's newer. There's apparently a conspiracy theory. I don't even want to really label it that. Because I used to be what I would call like a conspiracy theorist, but a lot of the stuff that we used to talk about that I've been talking about with especially with like my dad for forever, and so many things have like come true, They're banning chemtrails that, we were told weren't real. So, we really just can't really call it that anymore. I'm just going to say things. I'm just going to call it a thing. One of the things that is being discussed is the possibility that whenever they're trying to say that Hunter walked in and grabbed the kitchen knife, that he actually only did that to go and like finish taking Xana's life because she was apparently still alive. See, that's like the exact opposite of what I've been out here saying, I literally just did a video. That in my opinion, and in the most innocent of ways, okay, in the most innocent of ways, I feel like Hunter was the only one even listening to the conversation because everyone else was worried about alcohol. And that's the main thing on the conversation. And the intruder is like a fleeting thought, but he grabs a weapon because he hears an intruder. I'm sorry, what? And his first response, in my opinion, based on the way it's being told as of now, is that he's the only one that heard the most important part. That's my opinion. So hey, Tiff, the fact that people can just be like, oh, you are the most horrible person ever. I'm going to put you on this list to take you down. Well, I'm out here like literally taking up for one of the people that they're claiming to want to protect is wild. I honestly feel like Hunter got thrown under the bus in that situation, and that the Goncalveses are throwing him under the bus now because they are the ones who came out and told everybody that Xana's door was shut and put Hunter right in the middle of that. And instead of taking responsibility, they change the subject. They mention talking to Hunter, and then he changes the subject. And it switches to the door on the outside being open. And he doesn't go back. He never answers or takes responsibility. So I honestly feel as if Hunter is being thrown under the bus, and that's not very fair. In the most, innocent of terms. Again, I'm just saying. Okay, there was one early on, and it's been repeated a few times, and it's actually something that I find sort of interesting. I actually keep forgetting that it's something that I wanted to look into because I've been told that there's some sort of documentation, but again, I haven't seen it, so I haven't come out and talked about it. I've mentioned it in fleeting because it's been something that people discuss sometimes, but there, for a while there was conversation saying that Kaylee really did call 911 around 3:00 in the morning, and that the Banfield thing was because they got the information wrong on the 911 call, and they were supposed to actually go to King Road and ended up at the Banfield for this alcohol thing instead, and blah, 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 blah. And that sort of like added up because of the crazy back-to-back calls that there was with Maddie and Kaylee calling Jack DeCore back-to-back. And now we know that there was also a call to Bethany in that too. But I've wanted to look into that because I just wasn't sure. And I think that it was I think it was asked to Steve Goncalves before. I feel like it might have been asked, and I think he said no. But it was something that I thought was interesting. I mean, I thought it was super interesting. Okay, so one of those other ones says that there were at least 4 assailants that Dylan let in while everyone else was out, and they hid in the empty bedroom. Ellie went around and collected any incriminating footage hours before coming and goings to 1122. So there was footage of the assailants arriving at 1122 earlier in the day, but Ellie had destroyed all footage, and they are only giving us. I know that I talk a lot about Dylan, and I have a lot of issues with Dylan. I just don't know. I don't know what I see. That's why, that's another thing I just don't understand. Like, I really have like a lot of questions, but I don't know what her involvement could possibly be just yet, if anything. Like, I know that if it does have something to do with Kaylee, like if the targeting of this does for some reason end up having to do with Kaylee, then her hesitation, Dylan having to go all the way over there to ask her to come back, and like all of those things about the party, her wanting Kaylee to be the +1, even though she had all these different options, it didn't have to be Kaylee. And again, her going all the way over there and like asking her to her face, making it like a big deal, that'll come into play. But right now, the way that I feel about a lot of things, I really feel like their secrecy with Xana and Ethan is really important. I feel like the way that the university stepped in is really important. I know that a lot of people think that's crazy, but I don't. Like, I know that there are certain names that are mentioned in the 4chan thing, and we've gone over them. But I also don't want to sit here and just point fingers at those names either, because all we know is that there was a fight. There was some sort of argument. We know that there was a conversation between Xana and her dad around midnight. We know that we still have no true answers as to when Xana and Ethan actually got home that night. That even as of now, we've been told a complete lie the entire time. And now even come past 2:00, we're supposed to believe that they weren't home. But her father said they were home at midnight. I full-heartedly believe they were home at midnight and not home after 2:00, because anywhere they needed to go, they could have had something that drew them back out of the house after midnight, would have been within walking distance. The circumstances for that one, in my opinion, makes the most sense, especially if you think about the fact there wouldn't need to be any footage hidden in that situation. Dylan wouldn't even have technically really needed to even know the situation was happening. She could have just been completely drunk and out of her mind and really did just think she saw one of Ethan's friends leaving, because it probably was one of Ethan's friends. See, there's actually evidence coming from the one person I have the biggest amount of questions for that leads even to that theory being even more possible than Bryan Kohberger. Let's be for real. They would know the area. They would know exactly where the cameras are to not be seen on camera. And as much as Steve likes to talk about these, kits being hidden in places, well, the way that story is told is they would have had time to put little things in different spots, and it would have been easier for them to have changed clothes. And who's to say that if there is a car that sped away at 4-something in the morning, that it wasn't just the getaway driver with all the goods? I mean, who's to say that that's not the situation? There's more leaning towards things like that than there is Bryan Kohberger. And until we get to trial and see all the evidence, I'm going to stay at least on that one. But when it comes to Dylan's oh, she just knew that all these things were going to happen, I wondered that for a long, long time. But regardless, I don't believe the story that she has said. She's had a lot of manipulation around her, not just the police saying certain words to her and then it becoming part of her story, but also they were just allowed to be all up in a hotel after the fact, not separated, not kept apart, not like you go home to your parents and y'all don't talk to each other type thing. There is just a lot. There's just a lot there. And we also know how Greek Row works. It's massive brainwashing. It's not okay. It's not okay. Oh, yeah. See, and learning what we learned about Eric really was crazy, because for the longest time, I really didn't even pay attention to him. I really didn't feel the need to. I really felt like he dropped them off, and yeah, I knew his wife worked for the police department. I knew some things. I didn't really pay too much attention. And I should have probably paid more attention, because I'm still kind of sketched out about him. But that's also because we don't have all the information. So I really can't just throw all kind of involvement in that either, because we don't have all of it. All I know is that I find it strange that he took all this extra time to come forward, but then we find out now that Dylan had his personal cell phone number, and all the girls apparently had all his personal cell phone number. But I've also mentioned that I find it really strange that they were all apparently talking about going to get food, and Dylan sort of is just asking if he's driving. But then again, I don't really think that we know exactly how it was worded either. There's a difference in, hey, are you still out driving, and hey, are you driving? So I feel like if they were actually together and talking about food, then the conversation would go a certain way. And we're only hearing that now. It's strange that they're just now telling us that. Maybe because they think it doesn't really have anything to do with anything. But the fact that there's already so much secrecy, and on learning that, we then learned that Xana wasn't home after 2:00. I don't understand that. Does that mean that the families actually don't know what time their kid actually got home? We know that there's an interview that Stacy Chapin did where she says something about 2:00 being a dark hour. That's not really something that you can just erase, like it was said. And with the timing, what we know, it's interesting. Because now we know that even after 2:00, he's not home. Which actually matches, because there was a Facebook post, a woman claiming that her son had a text from Ethan on his phone around 2:06, I think, in the morning, saying that he still wasn't home, I believe is what it was. So there's just a lot. There's a super lot. Making a drinking game. Oh, I got my coffee. I've decided that every single time I mention coffee, I'm going to tag that concentrate that I talk about in the video, because I showed it to you guys a while back And some of you have went and gotten it and y'all have liked it. I bought another one. I just had to. I had like a 30% off coupon at Kroger if you got it on your pickup order. So damn straight I used it. And I had to get me another concentrate. Oh yeah, and apparently JLR showed one of my like tweets in his live, which is why like all these people think that like I apparently had something to do with something, which is actually wrong. This one was interesting. This is interesting, even though there's like, I mean, maybe proof of it. I don't know. We don't know the evidence, but this one's interesting. And I even said like, you know, possible. So I'm going to read it to you out loud because I find it, you know, pretty interesting. I really honestly do. Thank you for the 10. Oh, I think I read that one, but thank you anyway. Thank you for the 5. Chaos Theory's new video has some juicy info at the start of the video. I think that's where the whole hunter and the knife thing came from. Am I right or wrong, guys, in the chat? I don't remember. Thank you for joining, King AD Rock. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to read this because this is cool. This is like, not like a cool theory, but it is a cool theory because like it's possible. There's movies that are like written like this, just like to the left twist that had nothing to do with anything. It's wild. Okay. K Hawkins 5925 put this theory out. Sometimes the most outlandish conspiracy theory could be the correct one. A lone neighbor, tired of the loud music or dog barking, just flipped, walked in through an open back door and took out Ethan and Xana, then upstairs to finish off the 2 girls and took the dog home with him. The next morning he fed the dog, turned it loose, and the dog, is it going to open? I read the whole thing earlier. It's not going to open for me? Is it because it's too big? I think they said something about the dog going in through like the back door or something. Okay. Loose and doggy went in through the back door, up the stairs, and went to his room that had the door open. Yeah. Like, that's a crazy theory too to think about because, you know, people are wild. Kind of reminded me like a movie, like just some random neighbor just went in and did something crazy. And because of like just the way that the people were connected, it just caused all kinds of chaos and all kinds of people were blamed for things and all kinds of secrets came out. And it turned out to just be some like random. That would be crazy. That'd be super crazy. Super crazy. Oh, and someone said that they hope that I get sued for defamation. But no one's telling me like where I lied about anything. Like exactly. I'm not understanding how reading court docs is lying. Like I don't understand. I'm highly disappointed that you plan to behave. I'm trying to not be like a complete a-hole. I'm trying to like, I have gotten to a point in my life where I don't have to be in constant survival mode. And even like today was a big day for me. So like all the drama that started to like that happened today, I was like, of course, today of all days, this would happen. You know what? We're just going to roll with it. We're just going to have some fun with it because this is dumb. This is stupid. Absolutely dumb. So that's what we're just going to do. So I have to behave because I'm trying to just like actually do what my plan is. And like I said, today was like an important day for me. And I'm trying to stick to what the plan is for today, which is to change a few things. So I'm trying to just, okay, that's what we're trying to do. JLR is talking some more stuff about how the Goncalveses are being targeted. I don't know. That's absolutely wild to me. I don't feel like they're being targeted. There's people in the comments saying that even though they think that Bryan is guilty, they've been trying to get the Goncalveses page taken down for like well over a year. You know, like there's even people on that side of the fence that are disgusted with the behavior. And we also have to like think about this. And this is something that they don't really think about. And I know the whole like impersonation thing or whatever, but I don't really, you know, the timing of that is just odd with everything else. Okay. Steve came out here saying that he was like the spokesperson, right? It's very obvious that's not true because if he was a true alpha, then they would be making sure that like all of the families are going to be getting there, that the money that they're getting is actually going to be going to helping all of them get there. Because if it wasn't for the severity of everything, they wouldn't have this much attention. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but this is just the truth. If this would have happened to Kaylee living in an apartment down in Austin and she lived by herself or with just like one other roommate, it would have just been like another day in the news. The way that this happened in the story that's being told and all of the lives that were lost and everything that this entails is the reason why they've gotten so much money so many presents and so much support. And I find it also like really super interesting that all this crazy shit's happening right now after Kara, like her family, her friends are getting together and helping her get her stuff together when it comes to getting to trial and getting her GoFundMe out. And the news even picked it up. I think like 2 different stations even talked about Kara's GoFundMe now. Like, it's really crazy that all this is happening now that like another part of the victims' families are getting some more attention. Why? Because that proves that you're not, making this really like an alpha would about all of everyone and making sure everyone gets together. When he's asked about that, he diverts the question just as much as he does about Hunter and the closed door. Like, it's not cute. It's not okay. It's not like we're just calling out things that, don't need to be talked about. There's a lot of not fair things happening here. There's a lot of selfishness. And it's also my opinion that it's just shit human behavior. I'm just saying. Oh, apparently the person who's starting all this is trying to take down a whole bunch of different people. Well, I mean, the people that you're saying are doing the things have to actually be doing the things. Dinky. Dinky. I'm disappointed I didn't make it. I'll have to try harder. Heather. It is crazy, isn't it, Gina? Mass reporting free speech where I honestly think it is the guilty ones that are so upset by truth uncovering creators. They come over here and they're just rude. Like, they're just mean. And I'm just like, mean for what? Mean for what? So apparently Christy said, don't worry, it'll be back shortly. Well, then why are people like freaking out about it? Funny, on my favorites on this list. Andrew Myers, I feel left out. Yeah, they're not going to go after a real attorney, so they're safe. Just wild stuff. What do you call a conspiracy theory that turns out to be true? I know, like, there's like a new thing now. Like, what's the difference between reality and a conspiracy theory? Like 6 months at this point. 6 months. 6 months. Just take any theory you heard from 4chan and you'll be able to do a 24-hour stream at least. Well, I know there's a bunch of stuff on there, but the frat one, down to the timing, bro, like, it just, to me, the university did not just step in. The university took over. The university somehow finagled this man out of a home, demolished it, then took the ashes and the broken boards and doused them in chemicals and caught them on fire and vaporized them into nothingness like they never existed. You don't just do those things. This was not a campus situation. You would think that like WSU would be the ones who would be doing the most, in my opinion. But instead it's U of I. And I find that strange. I'm just saying. I feel like WSU should be the ones. I feel like they should be the ones. Thank you for joining, Julie S. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Dave Clifton. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Aunt Boo Boo, how you doing? Originally, Kaylee and Maddie's phones locked forever after Jack's calls. That's true, because we don't see any more activity from them at all after that, but they also failed to tell us in the middle of telling us all that stuff about Jack's calls, about Bethany's, which is interesting because whose phone was it? Was it Maddie's? They would have just not known then. So unless Maddie's family, no, you know what? I don't think they would have known at all. No, they would have, right? Because it was a call out. I'm trying to remember what they said. Okay, so in the beginning, in the very, 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 very beginning, they said that they knew that the surviving roommates had tried to call out to the rest of the victims because Kaylee's like call log said so. Now, as far as I'm concerned, they do not have the physical devices. They don't have those yet. But they were able to like get in there and see the call logs and things like that. But she said that because there was no like actual pickup call time that like a bunch of the calls didn't actually show up for anything. But they said that they knew, I guess maybe because of the text messages went through. I'm trying to figure out like how much of the actual call information they would have already had. Because if Maddie's phone tried to call Bethany's phone, Maddie's parents, if they were able to get a hold of her phone records, the way that the Goncalveses were able to get a hold of Kaylee's, maybe would have been able to see that. I think you can still see like outgoing calls even if it didn't pick up, but maybe not like missed calls as if you didn't answer it. Like, I mean, like maybe not like incoming calls if you don't answer it. I don't remember exactly how they worded it. I just know that they said that there was something that they couldn't see because it was just like a certain sort of like call detail log and it wasn't like the physical phone. I just don't remember exactly which way it went because it's been a while since they talked about that part. I appreciate that, Susie. Yeah, it's just been really crazy. It's been really wild. You sent me a screen recording? Okay. Oh, there's names on it. Yeah, I can't play that. You have to be careful, which really sucks because like I called out somebody by their first name, but I had to like I had to hide their face, and I had to hide their last name, and when it came to the people like running their mouths, I had to oh, and y'all have I saw somebody asking for this. I don't know why. I'll show y'all where it is too. My email. I don't click links. I just can't. I can't risk clicking links. I try as best as I can not to click any links. So if you want me to like watch something or whatever, you just kind of have to tell me like what it is, where it's at, and I'll go find it myself. That's how I have to do that. Yeah, SG's theory is strange though. See, yeah, Harsh is like the first thing I've won in 45 years. Yeah, just wild stuff. But I just don't understand it. I really just don't get it. Like, how does me retweeting something after something's already happened, me asking or like trying to get people to go and do that thing? You know what I mean? And speaking of him, okay, like I know that a lot of people in here watch Jay Embry, so I'm not going to say anything, you know, whatever. I'm not going to give my opinion on anything, but I will say I find it interesting that they don't mention him when for a fact they actually did mention the stuff that he talks about when it comes to the stuff that Christy was like upset about hearing, the stuff that it like involves them being part of it in a certain way, and like all these connections and things like that. Like it's stuff that he has mentioned. So the fact again that like, not that I'm saying that like I want him to be on a list either, but I just still find it interesting that the people that think that they're like fighting for the Goncalveses have issues with people that the Goncalveses haven't actually verbally come out and said anything about. I'm just saying, at least not that I know of. I just find that interesting. Like they think that they're fighting a certain kind of fight and they're really just kind of not fighting a certain kind of fight. I just think it's a little bit crazy. The owner of the house is the university. The owner of the house is the university. I don't even remember the guy's name anymore. I don't remember the guy's name. It's been a while. But he like donated it to the school or some shit, I think. Thank you for the $20. Thank you for the $20, Linda. Thanks for all the time and work you put into your channel. Love your opinions. I really try to be as honest and like I do my best not to watch other channels. Like I know that there are sometimes that you guys will come and say, hey, this person said this on this channel. Can you go take a look at it or something like that? You'll want my opinion on it. But I really try to like not just go willy-nilly and listen to other channels when it comes to this case or like any case that I'm deep diving into like this, which I mean for now, because I mean we really need to get back into some stuff with Kylie Rodney. Honestly, I need to do what I need to do to try to get some information from Truckee so that we can continue on with that situation. But for now, it's this one. But I just don't understand how we can like sit here and really go through like all the truth and facts and stuff and be considered part of the problem just because they don't like the fact that some of us have issues with the Goncalveses. Like this channel and several, of the channels don't, do certain things that they're accusing us of. Try to stick to the facts as much as possible. And I know for a fact that not every, victim's family, members, whatever, have issues with some of us. So I don't know who they think they're like protecting or fighting for. It's very strange. Yeah, no, there's a bunch of files that I still need to like put together and show. I'll have the time soon here to put a bunch of it together. So, what other theories? What other theories have you guys talked about, heard about? I know somebody said something about seeing Maddie maybe get slipped something at the grub truck. I remember watching that footage and looking at it really close, and I don't think that she was slipped anything. I think the camera just looks a certain way and it's like certain angles. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion from my eyeballs. Oh, okay. Somebody else said that too. I saw that name. Yeah. Okay. So he's the original. That sounds about right. No, I saw that Hillbilly Crime and who's the dude? Damn. Gavin Fish. They've been doing a lot of stuff together about that. That's one of the ones that I want to sit down and get caught up on. I actually have like all of the footage because we've been getting the footage in Letcher County in like weird sections. They're not giving it to us in like chronological order. So I've taken all of them and I want to like sit down and like put them all in chronological order and then come out and put it out. But yeah, that one's like one of those, there's some actual small town corruption happening here. That one needs attention. That one does. It really does. I try to as much as possible. Like, and I'm okay. Like, there's people here that have been supporting the channel forever, that are members of the channel, that have a difference of opinion. We argue about stuff. It's a difference of opinion. Some of them think that Bryan Kohberger is completely guilty. But we all, we all function. So I don't understand. I just don't. He's very detailed. He has a very detailed information on his website. He's very, very detailed. There's a lot of documents. It's easy to follow. I like him. And him and Hillbilly get along really good. I've been watching them talk about Letcher County. Oh, you mean the one that Enon Harsh apparently saw? See, yeah, what happened to that conversation? See, and that's interesting too. I guess I'll bring this one up. I guess it's just like not really a theory, but it's like something. If you go and you look at Linda Lane, like a few minutes after the car is supposed to leave, we see like a black figure coming out and like getting into like a really big SUV and like leaving. And it has like a really big bassy sound. Somebody pretty close to the case made a comment and was wondering why none of the boyfriends seem to have been like, help. You know what I mean? Like Dylan didn't reach out to her dude or anything like that. And, it's interesting. Because he also tried to say that he had never been there, but we know for a fact that he had been there to see her. So I've just kind of wondered if maybe that black truck that Enon saw was maybe him. And that's why she didn't contact him, because he was actually there. And that's who was leaving in that truck. And I wasn't originally thinking that. It was somebody, again, close to the case that like asked me kind of like what I thought about it. And I was like, let me go take a look. And I went and I looked at the footage itself. And then I looked at the timing of the information that we had from the court when it came to the text messages between Dylan and Bethany and their call logs, and, not seeing that they're trying to contact anyone like that. it maybe wouldn't be the first thing that some would do, but for a lot of girls, they probably, would call their boyfriend first. That's why a lot of people think that whatever did happen actually happened before the timeline that the police are telling us, because of how many times Kaylee called Jack. That's your ex that you've been with for years and years and years. You just saw him a few hours ago. And, if you know that he lives close, why wouldn't you call his phone back to back to back to try to get help? So, same logic. Why wouldn't Dylan have called her dude? Maybe he was there. I don't know. We just don't know. There's lots of questions. But I don't like go and dig into that kind of stuff because I don't know. It just looks like, certain coincidental things, but I can't say for sure if that's him. I can't say for sure if that they didn't, she didn't call him. I just know that so far with what they're saying, what they've shown us, it doesn't look like she did. But I can't just be like, I know that for a fact because of this. And I'm just like, well, possible, but we don't know. See, and that's another thing, which thank you, Lori Scott. Lori Scott's helping Kara with her GoFundMe stuff, and you guys have been amazing. You guys have been sharing it out. Like I said, the news picked it up, got it going again. There was a really big donation. I think one lady dropped like $1,000 on there for her to be able to get there and get the trial. And she's been doing like really, really good. So I really appreciate you guys taking that seriously. And I'm going to get something together here really soon. And I'm going to put everybody's information on it, even the Goncalveses, okay? Because I know that people are just going to donate wherever their hearts want them to donate. And we are as fair can be here. So even though I have my issues, when I get everything together, I'm pretty sure Ben has one. Maddie's father. I'm pretty sure that Ben has one. I shared Maddie's mom's a few weeks ago. I haven't seen anything for the rest of them. If there are other ones, let me know. And I'll get all those together and get all the links together and put everything together and post everything for everybody all at the same time. Thank you for the $49.99, Rose. My gosh. Okay, I'm from that area of Eastern Kentucky. The sheriff and judge case goes deep. I can tell. It's so wild. It's insane, actually. Like, the more video footage that they put out and the more little bitty details, I'm like, just give us all of it already. Like, we already know, like, this is going to go somewhere insane. It's all on camera. This isn't like a huge mystery for real. We already know that if it's gotten to the point to where the sheriff knew what he was going to end up doing was on camera because there's no way he didn't know. There's no way he didn't know at that point. He tried to play it off. It took him 2.7 seconds to get outside and realize, oh, never mind, that was on camera. Oh, let me just go in here and just turn myself in. Pointless. No. That was... Yeah. There's some information there. There's some stuff there. That one's going to be wild. Oh, yeah. That one's going to be wild. I can't wait to catch up on that one. Hopefully in the next week, we can catch up on that one. But we're waiting. We are waiting on if this continuance. Okay, let's switch to that for a second. Okay, the conspiracy thing is over with. We'll still address some certain things. The motion to continue. How do you guys feel about that? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that they should push the date back. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that they should leave it alone. Because I'd like to see what you guys think. I posted it in my community tab a couple weeks ago. I'm pretty positive. Outcast videos. Is that a channel? I'll have to go and check it out. Thank you. See, I would love to know. What in the freaking frack? Why is my thing doing that? My rug is on there and my camera keeps moving. Anyway. Yeah, I have a lot of questions about that because they were all cremated. And I don't know exactly if they were all cremated because it was necessary or if it was something that was very strongly suggested, but not really a suggestion. If that makes sense. Because the way that Steve is now describing Kaylee's injuries. Like, we already have known for like a super long time that she apparently had like really bad injuries and that she fought. Like, that's been something said for a while. Well, he's coming back now and he's trying to say, you know, yeah, that's what was said to him. Boomer. That's why everything. Hold on, my dog wants out. Let me let him out real quick. I love how people wait until they think I'm gone to start running their mouths. You're like really kind of sad, you know? Most people actually ask for my help, so there's that. How do I get rid of you? Because you're dumb. Ban and delete. Goodbye. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I honestly am. Because if all of that's true, then they sure the frick did not go down quietly. No, he was. There was a interview that Stacy did with Jacob from Twilight and his wife, of all people. And she's wearing a necklace, I believe, that he's in it. She said his ashes were in it. They were all cremated. I don't know if that's something, like I said, if that was like suggested or, you know, maybe not so much a suggestion type situation. Because, like, again, we knew that Kaylee had fought, but the recent information about her wounds are so horrible because it wouldn't even have. The knife wasn't necessary, according to what they're saying, and that's horrible. That's horrible in itself. To know that this area of her had been so heavily injured that it would have ended her life on its own. I would assume that would make her unrecognizable. I would assume that. So I understand maybe that, you know, family needing to do the cremation, but we haven't heard that type of stuff about the rest of them. Like, we've now heard some information about Ethan's legs. We knew about, I think it was Xana's left, was it her left hand where her fingers were severed? But other than that, I don't think that we've really heard anything else when it comes to them, like, needing to be cremated. But I mean, we don't know. All I know is that come trial, that's going to be really bad. It's going to be really, really bad. I'm new to your channel and love it. I'm not totally convinced BK did this crime. I think more than one person was involved, just my opinion. A lot of people do. And welcome. A lot of people do. And I mean, now they have the defense coming out with information claiming, you know, at least 2 weapons on Kaylee. And like I said, this would be a weapons expert that would know that it would not be like the bladed portion of the knife and then like the back end of the knife, that it would definitely have to be a different kind of weapon. Yeah. So it was something that wasn't confirmed. Annie Elise did a video a long time ago, like way back in the beginning of this, and somebody had contacted her, and I can't remember exactly the way that this person was like connected to law enforcement. They were either cousins with law enforcement or married to someone in law enforcement. I can't remember. But one of the details that they gave Annie Elise was that Ethan's legs were carved up like that. Which a lot of people think is like a jealousy thing, which, you know, kind of leans into the frat thing, honestly. You know, so I don't know. I just don't know. She does. I'm glad he gets to see her, gets to be around her. Thank you for the 1999 Rose. I just don't think one person could do that much harm, damages to the body all by themselves. I feel bad for all the families when and if this goes to trial. Yeah, and see that, and that's another thing. Kaylee's facial injury is so bad that could have ended her life itself. But then we have a selfie of the so-say suspect a few hours after the crime, and his hand doesn't have any injuries. Granted, we're just seeing one hand, and it's not even his dominant hand, as far as we can tell. I've seen him like writing a couple of times at the table, and it looks like he's right-handed. And it looks like the selfie's with the left hand, unless they did some reversal stuff. To me, it looks like it's left hand. So I still feel like there would be some injuries there. See, even brass knuckles, I've asked like a friend of mine who's like a weaponry expert about brass knuckles, and even some other people in the comments have mentioned brass knuckles would still have left like massive injuries on the user. And he didn't have any injuries on his hands. Even the people like after the fact said, you know, he was in class right after. Nothing was wrong with him. He wasn't limping. He didn't have any bruises. He didn't have any cuts, no black eyes, no bloody lips, no nicks, no nothing. No nothing. So I don't know. Thank you for the $4.99. Jules Karina Jane is on here claiming to be the creator of the list. She seems to want some attention. Well, she's blocked, so she can go get attention somewhere else. She's dumb. She literally has lost the plot. Because like I said, I've never said anything bad about Kaylee. I don't appreciate the way that Steve comes out here and lies about stuff. And I bring receipts to prove it. And then I take his own words and just replay them and be like, see, I told you. That's what he said. And then you hear him say it himself. That's not me. Can't blame me for just, you know, showing somebody else's words. It's not me. I'm just giving an opinion. Nunchucks? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. They haven't said anything about what the other weapon could possibly be. I'm sure they have it in the report, but that's not in the information that they've given to us. So I don't know. Maybe. It'll be interesting to see the reports. He did. He backpedaled on a bunch of stuff. We ended up going over that interview live sometime last week. But it was wild. I don't know if this is about me or somebody else. So I'll just leave it alone for now, because obviously whatever, I don't know. Really? That's funny. I mean, I used to watch a lot of her. Like I said, there was a lot of people that I used to watch until I became a creator, and then I just kind of like realized like, oh crap. Maybe I shouldn't have been maybe listening to these people this whole time, which a lot of people are feeling the same way now about Keith Morrison because of the situation now with the leak. And James Patterson too. Like the way that he's like, wow, what did he say? What was it? You're the jury now. The evidence is in. And I'm like, bro, we're not even at trial. What? And now so many people are like, I have to like rethink every book of his I've ever read because like he was trusted. And now he's saying that kind of stuff. And we're not even at trial. We have no idea. We do not have the evidence. What? Everything in that book is coming out before we even get the actual evidence put out in front of us. And this dude is for real right now. That's horrible. That's horrible. Yes, and that's why there's like another like more leaks. Patterson flat out said he interviewed law enforcement. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that until, you know, R.I.P. Matthew Perry. I didn't know that until he passed away, that Keith Morrison was his stepfather. I did not know that. I had no idea. Oh, yeah, no, definitely not. But you know what's interesting? I didn't want to, but I guess I'm going to need to read Scott Green's section he has about the university. Like I did know, I mean, we've talked about it before, not like in a video itself, which eventually maybe it does need its own subject, but we've mentioned it in passing about like Brett Payne being put in the lead, and it didn't make any sense because he had no experience. There was somebody with a little bit more experience that was like the go-to at first, and then all of a sudden it switched to Brett Payne. And it was just odd that they did all that. And then here comes the university. Well, he makes it sound apparently, and I'm just saying apparently because somebody posted something, I think it was on Twitter, and it was just like a screenshot of like a little like paragraph or two from the book. And I just like, I just read the paragraph thing. But in his book, he's basically saying that Brett Payne's like inexperience is the reason why the university stepped in. And to me, like the way that they did step in, I'm thinking like, or is like his inexperience being the lead, person because you were already involved and you needed somebody who didn't have experience, in the forefront so that you could do whatever you wanted to do and he wouldn't know better, because now he's also the one like being made to literally lie under oath. What? What? How is that allowed? Hey, Lisa, you've been so supportive too. I very much appreciate you. I wish I could like send you messages, but the whole like just emoji thing is horrible and I can't stand it. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you're in here so I could actually say thank you to you in person. All I know is I can't get so emotionally involved anymore. You'll be the only one I watch. The hours and hours I spent trying to find an answer that eases my mind. It is wild. I want one thing. One thing. Stacy Chapin is in an interview saying that she's wearing him on her necklace, in her necklace. So is that not true? Because we were told that they were all cremated. And she said that in the interview. I mean, I could be wrong, but I know that she said that. Because we went over that interview. We talked about it here on the channel. Because that's whenever that's the first time I'd heard it, that he was cremated. I was shocked hearing it from her. I didn't know that. I thought that because of his religion, he couldn't be cremated. That was like the rumor that I had in my head about his background. Because again, I don't really like deep dive into their backgrounds like that. I'm not that channel. I don't do that. I see stuff in passing. I don't do that. I like a timeline. I really like a good like 24 and like 24 before and 24 after. In this case, because of how in depth we are, it's apparently gone, obviously way farther than that. We've got that ginormous timeline that we work on, and it's continuous because we're not even at trial yet. But yeah, I didn't think about anything when it comes to his religion. So whenever I kept hearing that over and over again, that it didn't make sense that he would be cremated because of their religion, I was just like, okay, whatever. It didn't really matter to me either way. So then whenever we listened to the interview, it was like, I didn't know that. That's crazy. So I could be wrong, but I know that it really shocked me. And it shocked a few people that she said that. But I'm just saying, I could be wrong. I don't know. Golf clubs. Miss Chapin said they kept Ethan. They did, Adrienne. Thank you for the $2. That was true. And not just they. The defense. The defense has Ethan's. Well, I can't say has. I can't say has. I can assume that maybe they have kept them the whole time because we haven't heard any different when it comes to anyone getting any of the electronics and stuff back. So maybe they've gotten the golf clubs, maybe they haven't. But the defense were the ones that had them. And I believe the boys' two vehicles were also held in, evidence for a while. The golf clubs were interesting because of the way that they were describing the wounds at some point as like punctures or gouges. And if you take off the like head of the golf club, that's what, it turns into. It could be definitely like that. So it was interesting. And yeah, that was said by the family in New York, North New York Dispatcher 20. Thank you for the $9.99. Jules, I absolutely love you and your channel and keep doing what you do. I don't agree with everything you say. I still enjoy trying to figure this out. I'm more confused now than in the beginning. I know. I know. And there's a lot of people on here that don't agree with everything. I'm perfectly fine with that. I have disagreements, like differences of opinions with a lot of different people. Like, it's totally okay. It's how you approach me. And if you think that I'm an asshole, it's because, like, you're sort of like the same way. Now you don't like it. I'm just saying. Thank you. I really feel like I need to re-dye it. It's like red doesn't stay in my hair. And I can't stand it. Thank you, Dana. I very much appreciate it. I need to try to fix it, though. Let's see. Do you think Payne could be someone that would create the leak because he's so mad they're making him lie? I think I said that. Yeah, I said that. I wondered that because what's the point? Like, at that point, if you're being made to lie under the oath that you maybe in your heart took seriously, and you're starting to realize, like, let's say in the most innocent of terms, okay, that he's not responsible for anything being like, you know, how do I put this? Let's say that he didn't actually orchestrate anything, that he literally was just a puppet that did as he was told because he really is just some rookie that got thrown in and he didn't know what to do and he just thought it was normal to just let the feds come in and tell him what to do, so he just did what he was told. Okay, most innocence of terms. Say he actually takes this badge seriously, which you would freaking hope so, right? You would hope that the freaking police officers in any police department would actually take that oath seriously, that they would actually value what it's supposed to stand for. So say now that they're making him lie with that badge on under oath, however they end up doing it. What if now they've broken everything that man believed in and he's just like, F it, I'm just going to tell him everything. And he's just leaking stuff because F it. Because F it. Possible. Very possible. But we also know that Judge retired. Do y'all think that he would say something? I don't really think he would. Some people think that it could be Cyree, and I'm just like, no, that can't be Cyree because everything is being pointing, it's all pointing at the state. All pointing at the state. Rochelle said, I think it's someone inside, but they need to point to someone else because of fear, maybe. But I also thought the G's could have been giving us Easter eggs on purpose for a while to get it out. I was really hoping that was the case. I wasn't looking for the things that he was coming out and saying to be false. When he was first coming out and doing this, and all those videos are still there, I never took any of them down, where I was coming out and taking everything that he said as like a fact and coming out and being like, holy crap, he said this, oh my gosh, and like putting it with everything that I was thinking that was actually factual about this case. Okay. It took a while before it became, maybe it wasn't really the situation in the beginning, but somewhere there was a turning point here. And it happened whenever the state got tired of them coming out and basically blaming them for how this case was going. Let's be for real. Steve had every right, and we were all supportive of it. Whenever he was coming out and he was talking about, law enforcement, I was like, yeah, it sounds like they really don't know what they're doing. I totally agree. They stopped telling him things. And now he blames them for the fact he comes out and does what he does, which is not fair. How is that justice? To like knowingly come out and say things that you know are false in retaliation for the fact that you're not being told the truth. That's not fair. That's not fair. And I highly doubt that, like, if Kaylee was a real big true crime person, the way they say, that she would be like okay with him coming out and muddying the truth. I'm just saying. I just find that that's wild. Oh yeah, I've seen y'all talking about the dog a lot. We probably need to do a video about the dog. I know that you've been talking about the dog like quite a bit in here. Yeah, the doors being closed made more sense when it came to the dog not having anything on him. But now that we're being told that like the majority, if not all of the whoa, really? In total? 7? Holy crap and moly. That's wild. I'm about to get the rest of those names. I'm gonna have to get the rest of those names. But yeah, we need to talk more about Murphy because the door situation's always been interesting. And whenever we were told about Xana's door being closed, and then there's like no trail leading in between, and now we hear the 911 call, and there's like no mention of anything red anywhere, and they're still going back and talking about how there's a possibility that it was just alcohol poisoning. Like, none of it was making sense. So whenever Murphy, this like light colored, very furry, poofy, furry dog has apparently nothing on him, how? And how are we supposed to believe that somebody didn't give that dog a bath and then dry him? They had 8 hours. And now, because of the testing that was done, the dog was barking outside for 30 minutes. That's after that car left while Dylan and Bethany are talking to each other. While Dylan is supposed to be down in Bethany's room while there's conversations going on. The dog is barking outside, and then it abruptly stops, meaning somebody let the dog inside? I mean, why are we horrible for asking questions about that kind of crazy shit? I don't understand. How are we bad for that? I don't get it. Thank you for the $1.99, Tanya. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I'm very sorry to hear about your son. I saw your message earlier. Thank you for the $3, MP. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what I said. And somebody literally said, somebody that was subscribed to me for 2 years said that me suggesting that they put Murphy in the same room as Bryan was just too much for them, that I had apparently lost my mind, and they unsubscribed. And I was like, apparently you don't know much about dogs or science, so bye-bye. Yes. Okay. Regardless of if Murphy saw the person that entered the house that night or not, that dog would have a reaction to Bryan's scent if the dog was allowed to be around Bryan. Okay. Even to this day, I fully believe that the way that Murphy would react would say a lot. So if Bryan went into a room with the dog and he just like sat down, or he stood there and he's just like, here, Murphy, here, boy, or like trying to just get the dog's attention like some random person would, like at a dog park, whatever. And the dog just like willy-nilly walks up to Bryan and there's no like scared reaction. Like, I'm not saying that Murphy's gonna like growl and like bare his teeth and whatever, but there could be like a whimper of fear. There might be something noticeable there. Why not try that? Yeah, no, I agree. I've said the same thing. Hell yeah, I think it would say a lot. I think it would say a lot. No, they wouldn't be able to. I mean, it would sort of be the same thing as like a lie detector test. But I think a lot of people would look at that and be like, damn. Because, there would be no scent. There would be no scent that would make the dog freak out. So we have that on top of Dylan saying, I don't recognize this portion of this person's face. It says a lot. It is. You can snicker about it all you want to, broski. They've got literal scientific degrees in college about dog science. So there you go, skis. True story. Yeah. There was a rumor that apparently Dylan didn't like Murphy, but not a lot of people don't like dogs. I don't know. People might have just been saying that to be, saying something. I don't know how true that is. Yeah, somebody's asked me to FOIA the buddy thing, and I keep forgetting. So I'm so glad you said something while I have my handy dandy Post-its right here. Because whenever I tried to FOIA the traffic stop, even after they like said it was some sort of public document, they wouldn't let me have it. And there was a whole thing. Oh, and you know what? I need to like actually do a video so I can show y'all guys this. I've mentioned it before and I keep forgetting to like do a little video. I did a FOIA in Pullman. For like basically, I basically did it the same way that I did with Kylie's, or like anytime I do one, I add like the way that I word it a certain way to where it's not going to like trigger certain things, but it has all the crucial information. So they knew exactly what I was asking for because of the way that they answered it. So I sent one to Pullman and they basically told me that it was approved or whatever, but they weren't going to be able to answer me until October, which is like, probably going to be after trial, which is, interesting. Well, actually, I don't think so, because isn't it going to go into like November or something now? I just found it funny that they're like, oh, we can't answer you for 6 months. What? This was like last month I did it. It's just wild. I mean, I'm trying. You are offering common sense, Jules. This case must have a secret order to ignore anything that makes any logical sense. Well, all the other orders are seriously ignored, so surprised they're, listening to that one. Just too much. I mean, I'm kind of hoping that they did and we just don't know about it. I really do. Like, I hope that he got to Idaho and they called Jack and they were like, bring Murphy up here, broski. And, maybe they did. I don't know. I hope they did. I don't remember if they showed us anything about where the dog was laying. I know now that they said that on Nunez's body cam, Kaylee's door is wide open and the dog is in the room. Did they say on Kaylee's bed? I know that Kaylee's parents said that his crate itself was still in her SUV. I don't know about that part. I did do a FOIA with Whitcomb, and they basically just sent me some sort of generic thing. I think I posted it. I think I put it in a video. I know that I never got an actual like file response from them. To this day, I haven't gotten one. There's like some sort of backlog, I think. I'll do a video with all the rest of my FOIA requests. Oh, hold on. "6:30, I turned into a neighborhood on the way home and started sneezing and have not stopped. And I've taken my allergy meds and it's not working. I feel like a balloon." Two escapees kidnapped that old man walking his dogs. They let the dogs live. I wondered about the dog in the very beginning because for a brief moment there, we were told that the dog like couldn't be found. And I mentioned this before, and some people remembered hearing that the dog like couldn't be found at first and then like ran back home at some point. And that's whenever the dog was found. That got changed up pretty quickly, which was interesting because that was one of the very first things that we heard. But I wondered if, because everything was apparently so quiet, if somebody had slipped the dog something. And then whenever they said that the dog like abruptly stopped barking after being outside barking for 30 minutes, I know that there's a possibility that it could just mean that somebody let the dog inside, but could it also mean that that's whenever maybe something like kicked in? And maybe that's why the dog maybe didn't have anything on them and could actually be in a door, in a room with the door open because they were knocked out. I've wondered that. But I don't know if they did a toxicology on the dog. Get what in October? Get what in October? Oh, I don't know. I guess good question. I just realized what you were talking about, the Pullman thing. I don't know. It's because the one interview that Daniel did on Drunk Turkey, that Steve did it with Daniel on Drunk Turkey, he mentioned that there was a girl that called him like right before he did the interview, and that she had mentioned filing reports on Bryan like before he was arrested. So that's why I filed it, because I wanted to see if, there was any actual police reports filed against him at some point, even something that was just like a report that didn't go anywhere, if something was actually filed and like stored somewhere. And then that's whenever they said that, like, I can't give you anything till October. Strange timing, but sure. Strange timing, but sure. Well, I mean, I know, but that's the same thing that I ask about why, whenever everything was going on, we were originally told, remember, that like they called Hunter because they needed a strong man to come and open the door. So that's why the door being closed or not was such a big deal. Because one of the first questions was like, okay, they went and called an outside source before they went upstairs and got the two, full grown, capable, grown adult women that could have helped them get the door open. That doesn't make any sense. Same concept right here. Same concept. It didn't make sense to me. And even now, it sort of makes like less sense because of who they ended up calling. That's why I just don't understand, like, the whole vibe of everything changes when Hunter's not the one specifically called and that door is not closed. Oh yeah. No, me and KC argue a lot. Not like argue, but yeah, we disagree on lots of stuff. And Miller Time. Where's Miller Time? I just saw Miller Time in here. And Tara. Me and Tara argue all the time too. Me and Tara actually like argue. Y'all have seen it in chat. And they've been here for a long time. Super long time. This is true. See, here's Miller Time right here. This is true. This is true. All we know is what Anne said in court and what they're, I guess, what they're wanting us to believe, because this is true. He was not the only dog in the neighborhood. Not the only dog in the neighborhood. And there is a possibility that there was another dog barking. And it would actually make more sense if there was another dog barking outside at like people, going by. If it was more like someone running by or like people running by, that one theory that people don't really like to talk about, rather than, a car speeding away. If it was another dog. See, and I thought that the roommates did that, but then I was told the cops did that to keep the door shut. Pretty positive. So I'm not really sure anymore. Honestly. Not gonna lie. Yeah, see. Right? Like, yeah, he had to go potty. But then people ask the same thing about the girls, like, especially Dylan, like, you were drinking all of that. Like, a Borg is a gallon, honey. And then you drank, like, all that other stuff on top of that? In 8 hours, you didn't have to go pee? We're supposed to believe that you didn't go past that door where you already told us that you saw Xana? Lots of questions. Lots of questions. Yeah. And see, that's another thing. Somebody brought up the ladder whenever we had the story about the door being shut. It had people looking at the ladder harder because the door shut thing. So what now? Knowing that all the doors were open, then what? What happens with the ladder then? I don't know. Maybe nothing. Maybe it doesn't change anything with the people that think something about the ladder. But I know that some people in the comments were saying, man, the door being closed is the reason why so many of us started looking at the damn ladder. Yeah. Yeah. Dog would have had accidents. Right? Yeah. I wouldn't expect it either. Yeah. And I know she said that, but if they didn't, which I don't believe, those results are going to be talked about at trial. I know that Howard Bloomblum, whatever, tried to say that the toxicology results that he saw said that everything was clear. And I'm like, broski, Maddie and Kaylee couldn't even stand straight. That pasta might have sobered them up like a little bit, but no, it would be nowhere near clear. No. So maybe he meant clear of like anything nefarious, and maybe it would be just like alcohol, which is, okay. Hey, Patty. Thank you. Oh, is he in here? Yeah, you got number 1, broski. Numero uno. It's a very sloppy investigation, especially since it literally sounds like Moscow didn't do anything. It sounds like the FBI did literally everything. They did everything. They advised them on how to fill out the search warrants, how to submit them. Then whenever the information came in, 9 times out of 10, the FBI was the one getting the information first and then giving them the next steps, not really letting them analyze anything, just letting Moscow know what's the next steps. After I've already looked at it, this is what you need to do now. They weren't making decisions. They're the ones who swabbed Bryan. They're the ones who did the forensic download. They're the ones who did the inventory report for Pennsylvania. Like, they did everything. They did the IgG. They did everything. Just wild. Just wild. Yeah, I mean, I believe it was Murphy. I believe it was Murphy. I don't believe it wasn't Murphy. I just find it interesting that if he was outside and was barking for 30 minutes and then abruptly it stopped, to me, that would mean that somebody put him out on the balcony, if that's the case. But somebody then had to let him in the balcony and then shut the door for it to like abruptly stop. You know what I mean? I got up one night and took a couple of Tylenol, and when I went to drink the water, I must have passed it on the floor. When I woke up, my 3 cats were laying on me, sleeping. Wow. Well, I'm glad you woke up and they weren't eating you, because I've heard some horrible stories, but that's wild. And what's actually funny? My cat, she'll jump on my dad's chest and like put her nose to his nose when he sleeps over, when he comes to visit. He's on the couch. But she won't do that to me. She's never woken me up like that. I'm like, well, it must be like you're snoring or something, bro. She doesn't mess with me like that. I don't know what to tell you. Alf, you need a Venmo so PayPal doesn't take half. Thanks for the facts. Feel better soon. Yeah, my allergies are horrible. And I had like a $5 rebate on Ibotta for Allegra. And I'm telling you right now, that stuff sucks. For me anyway, it's not working. And I think I had a Venmo. You know what? It's just too many. I can't have too many more. It's too much of a headache to try to keep up with all them things. I'm not that kind of millennial, broski. I can't do it. Melinda, 20 months. Dang, girl. That's almost 2 years. That's a super long time. Thank you. Who was a 315 dumpster diver? Was he checked? That's a good question. That's a really good question. I've seen the videos. I think Bubbly Waters is the one that has a lot of those videos of the dumpster stuff on that side. I do find it interesting. The timing is odd. The similar car with the sunroof is odd. The time frame of it is strange, considering what a lot of people were thinking in the beginning with the way that things might have actually went down versus what we were told. I don't know. It's all very strange. All very, very strange. Yeah, they pretty much wrote it too. I mean, it was some sort of, what do they call it? A living document. So pretty much anyone that had access to this thing that was working the case, that wanted to just like input another piece of the investigation that they just so happened to be working on, and they found it and they need to input it into the timeline, they just got to like willy-nilly be in there. Because there was a portion of it that was read. Oh man, it's been a minute. We read it in a document, and it was something that was presented at the grand jury, and it was like another version of the event that took place that Dylan claimed to have seen. I think it was the portion about Kaylee, and where she apparently did say in the interview, where they said in the grand jury that in the interview information, it said that she had actually seen Kaylee go up the stairs like normal from the second to the third floor, and then turn around with Murphy like at her heels and bolt back down the stairs to the second floor, screaming about how someone was there. And they basically took that and they watered it down to she heard what she thought was Kaylee Goncalves say something about someone was there. That's completely different than she opened the door and physically saw her walking up the stairs and having an instant reaction to seeing someone and freaking out and turning around and running downstairs. Why are we watering that down? I don't understand that. And that's coming from Payne's like version of stuff that he has written. So yeah, he's like not been able to like tell the truth the entire time. They've been curating the entire thing, and it's really just gross. I don't really quite understand it. Michelle says Jules wanted Hunter grab a knife so many hours later to go upstairs to check on Xana after Dylan already saw Xana on floor, open Hunter and knife. Why? I made a video about this. When was it? I don't even know. A couple days ago, I guess. I honestly think that he's the only one that listened to what was said. I know that whenever the 911 call was made, that they put a lot of emphasis on seeing Xana and thinking it was alcohol, but maybe in his mind, he focused on the fact that he heard a person in the house. And, you know, there has been instances where people have stayed in the house. They've stayed inside to attack later, and maybe it was just in case he grabbed it like on the way. Like they're basically saying like they walked in, he grabbed the knife and then went towards that way. But then he basically like saw Xana on the floor because the door was already open, and then they went back outside. But then we also hear them going back inside on the 911 call to like recheck is basically how they're trying to tell us the stuff. So I understand why people think it's weird. I mean, I understand why people have questions about it, especially since like a knife is such a big deal in this entire case. I understand that portion of it, but to me, in my opinion, I just feel like his brain just focused on a different part of the story. That's just my thoughts on it. A fire reported the same night? I'm gonna have to look at that. That is wild. There was a window unit? I didn't even think about looking at that kind of stuff. I watched a video that you did where you were what's her face, Nancy Grace's cousin Fancy or whatever. You did a video about Daniel and how he like switched up asking questions about things, and it was just hilarious. I'm just saying that ish was funny. That ish was funny. Broke your big toe. You know what I did once? I hope you feel better. A booting for 6 weeks. That sucks. When Ariel first got sick, for some reason, her meds, I guess, I don't know why, honestly, she like craved meat constantly. So every night I had to cook her a steak, okay? And she has to have A1 with her steak. This has been going on for like a decade. Something had happened and we had just bought like a brand new bottle of A1, and I had just finished cooking her steak, and we went to go give it to her, and I turned around in the kitchen and I dropped the bottle of A1 on my big toe, and I didn't have a toenail for like a year and a half. It was horrible. Fun fact. And now like even my youngest, who wasn't even like I didn't even know his father existed at the time this happened to me. Even my youngest knows me and A1 are enemies. It's hilarious. No, I don't know. I don't think they meant PayPal. I think they maybe met YouTube. PayPal doesn't take half. They take a percentage because of the way that I have the account set up to make it like a little bit more secure. So if somebody sends like 10, I think I get like 970 or something like that. But that's just because of the way that I have stuff set up. It's YouTube that takes half. This thing keeps like moving. It has to be the dog. Boomer is on the rug. I was wondering what's going on with it. The dog's just going to be the dog. Or the frat dead coyote true story. Oh, I don't know. I remember seeing something about that. I know that a lot of people dug into the frats and they dug into Showalter, and some of them do have like a hunting background, and there's pictures on their Facebooks and on their social media, whatever, of them, I guess, with weapons, And I know it looks questionable now because of the situation, but I guess because I'm like from the South, to me, like, I'm just like, if there wasn't already some questionable stuff happening, they would just look like a bunch of dudes. So I don't know. I remember seeing some questionable photos, but yeah, I'm not too sure. Oh yeah, add a Pepsid to your allergy meds. I need to, because dang, I don't even know what happened. It's like all of a sudden, like since 6:30, it's just like this side of my face. I'm like, of course. Of course. Judge was a little bit of a pushover, but he wasn't like this guy. Like Judge Hippler put on just this disgusting, like negative, like the very first thing he said, like I guess he was trying to be funny, but he was just like, well, I'm not gonna, whatever. I'm not gonna pretend to be happy to be here, or some shit like that. And I'm just like, that's your entrance? How old are you? That's how you decide to make your big grand entrance into the like biggest case you'll ever actually work in your entire life? That's how you decide to do this? No, they do not. They do not take half. Yeah, that's wild. See, I know. That's why it's like wild to me that the dog could be quiet the whole time. Or could like refrain from walking around and like following the scent. That's why, like, I know the doors were open whenever the first responders apparently got there, but I don't know if I believe that they were closed, not closed before that. I don't know. See, a lot of people wonder about that too. To me, it's normal not to see them remove the bodies, so that's not really a big deal to me. Yeah. Yeah, like if I get $50, I actually get $24.50 when it comes to YouTube. They take half. They take half. They take half, yeah. Yeah. Added it as info was given. Living document. And see, that's another thing about Chief Fry. Like, and I've said this before, and I will say it again. I'll say it again. I feel like the citizens of Latah County made a big statement whenever he was not elected sheriff. Because if they really felt as if Moscow worked this investigation correctly and they had the right guy and everything was fine, don't you think that they would have elected the guy who was chief whenever Bryan Kohberger was arrested? Oh my gosh. He's a sheriff? Hell yeah. We want that guy to be sheriff. He lost. I think that says something. Yeah, I'm going to look. That's actually something that I've kind of been wanting to look more at now because of the way that the timeline is like interesting. Extremely interesting. Ooh. I actually used to do the apple cider vinegar thing. See, Amazon has like a cheap allergy pill, but it doesn't really work, which sucks. So we had to switch to a different one. That's why I've been trying to just use whichever ones I have a rebate for on Ibotta. And like I said, this one was like a $5 rebate, and I think the 20 something pack is like 13 something. So it's gonna be like $8 or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it just hasn't kicked in yet. But like my eye feels all puffy and stuff, and it sucks. But I didn't go live yesterday, and after today I was like, yeah, we're gonna talk about some stuff. You know what? I think I have some Flonase. Ooh, I think I'm gonna have to go find it. I think I do have some. Buddy. Buddy is the dog that somebody attacked. That's the one that I'm going to try to get a FOIA for and see what happens with it, because I think some people tried to get information about that and they weren't able to. Now, I know that whenever the whole like Brent Kopacka thing was wild for a while, some people tried to connect Brent Kopacka's some belonging that he had to that dog, but the owners like still actually had the collar that was apparently being, linked in this picture that Brent Kopacka, had or whatever. So it wasn't his because the owner still had it. But I want to try to find, any information on that, because if that was happening, and there's so many questions going on when it comes to, the suspect currently, who's to say that whatever is really going on with Buddy doesn't have something to do with the situation? Because if for somehow Bryan Kohberger is the guy and he didn't have anything to do with Buddy, and they had, this guy attacking people, riding a bike, holding a knife, and, he apparently wasn't linked either to anything, then this area just has a whole bunch of cray people. Hide your kids, hide your wives type situation going on. Lots of cray-crays with knives. So we probably should look into that a little bit more and try to see if there's any other connections, because that's wild to just have like all that crazy stuff happening. And, they're not all connected. That's insane to me. Absolutely wild. Yes. Fancy Grace. Very funny stuff. Very funny stuff. The DoorDash is wild. The DoorDash is wild. This whole time, I was really expecting it to be like Xana's DoorDash record, but instead it's Ethan's. Nothing at all was submitted for Xana. So I guess they're going to try to say that maybe the DoorDash chick, I'm assuming girl, could have been a dude. I know the initials are just MM, so we don't really know for sure. But maybe they're just going to try to say that the DoorDasher said they gave it to a brunette girl, and maybe they showed the DoorDasher the picture of Xana, and they were like, yeah, that's her. But if that's really all they got, that's going to kind of suck. That's not going to really be enough for me. Hold on one second. Do you remember on the very first court hearing, Bryan asked to speak with Judge alone? Like the very first one he had with Judge? Did he? I don't remember that. That was before I had the ability to like screen record and like watch the hearings with you guys. That's like only been able to happen for this channel for like a year or so, because I didn't know how to do any of that stuff before. So maybe, I don't know. What was WSU Kim's daughter's? I don't remember. See, I don't even think it didn't even have anything to do with the daughter. It was like a girl that lived in the same sorority house as her daughter that was dating a guy that was supposed to have been part of Jack's alibi or something like that. It's been a while. Yeah, the blood, the smell, especially with the dog, it's just hard for me to believe that, like, I just don't understand. Thank you for the $4.99, Lisa. Ever since you got that Whopper, the amount I've eaten is insane. It's that mayo, bro. It's the mayo. They put some sort of illegal substance in the mayonnaise. Allegedly. It's so good. Thank you for the $19.99, Rose. Here, Jules, 10. YouTube, seriously, 10 also. I know it sucks, guys. And I really, like, I I don't want to just sit here like always say it, because then people are gonna be like, oh, you're just being it for money. No, but I don't know how many people actually know that, because a lot of people really think that like we get all of it, and we don't. We don't get all of it at all. They get half of it. It's wild. March 27th. Was it PayPal? Was it PayPal? I know that earlier I had mentioned all the Cash Apps. I normally get stuff for you from Cash App. But if you had sent something from PayPal, I need to check it. I don't have the app on my phone. And I don't get my email notifications on my phone. Like, I turned those off. Like, I check my emails whenever like I need to check my email. So sometimes I don't see everything. Like, I try to take time to go in and like figure stuff out and read everything, but I don't have the notifications on because it would go off all the time. This is true. Your body naturally contains trace amounts of metals like iron, copper, and zinc. This is true. Carbonara is what they did. And see, that's another thing. Like, them even having the conversation about going to get food, even to me, that's not that really, that's not abnormal. They were really drunk. And they shared one dish between the two of them. So if, two other girls are like, oh, I'm hungry, you want to go get some food, or you want to order food or get food, or like whatever, them sharing a dish, I can definitely see them being like, oh yeah, I'm still hungry. I get that. So it's not like the story is impossible. It's just, I don't understand why they haven't like told us all of this before. Why is that how we're now finding out that Xana and Ethan weren't there? And again, the whole like the food conversation is being had about like a whole nother portion of people now that has nothing to even do with the people who apparently really did order the food. And the people that really did order the food, they weren't even there whenever the other people were talking about getting the food. It's just weird. You see, it's just wild as shit. It's just wild. Very insane. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm sure that maybe the cops did, maybe, but I don't really know how well you can really match that. Dogs all sound like dogs. I mean, I can tell whenever my dogs are barking versus other dogs, but I don't know if I could just kind of like. Oh, shit. Oh. I always forget to turn that damn alarm off. That happens all the time. I don't know how loud it is in y'all's ears. I do that to y'all all the time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, no wonder I didn't see it until now. Look, I'm just now getting to these. I'm behind. I'm sorry, guys. See, I thought so too. I thought so too. See, that's what I think. I think that he was closed into Kaylee's room, and I think at some point somebody went in and opened the door. Yeah, I need to get some stuff. If Dylan hears sounds at 4, that means the perp was already in the house prior to the 4 a.m. narrative. I mean, yeah, that's what we think too. A lot of people think that it all shifted, because for the majority, everything was pointing to like 3 to 4. And then all of a sudden, everything is like moved over. So who's to say that like whoever Dylan is seeing, if she is actually seeing anyone, because that's something else I want to talk about like in a video, very specific. I don't want to be in like conversation and seeing things and I want to react to. I want to like focus just on that whole thing, because it's very possible that like Dylan really didn't see much of anything, or she did see something. And what if it was just like the cleanup crew afterwards, because the original time frame could be the time frame that everyone originally thinks, but then there's like a shift to it because of what Dylan is claiming. And again, what if it was just like whoever was there to clean things up or make things look a certain way, or who knows? We really don't know. Especially since they keep telling us they can't give us time of death. I don't see how. They can't precisely give us time of death. Like, there's scientific math that can be done balancing out all of the factors when it comes to temperature, when it comes to airflow, when it comes to everything, humidity, everything. There's ways to do all of this. As a first responder, we are not allowed to enter the home until the scene is cleared by police when there is foul play involved. For sure, because it contaminates it. Yeah, you would think. You would definitely think. Wow. Yeah. It gets on my nerves at this point because, like, y'all are making, like, a lot of money off the ad revenue. You know, whenever y'all talk about these cases, at least have the respect to get the names right. Like, I'll say Bloom Blum whatever because, you know, Bloom Blum whatever can just kiss my big old butt. But when it comes to the victims, like, come on. Say it right. Girl, couponing ain't what it used to be, but it's still, you know, you still find what you need. You can still save money, but it's definitely not like it was pre-pandemic. There's no more paper coupons. A lot of the times whenever you do rebates, you can't have something that you used a coupon on and also get the rebate whenever you used to be able to do that. And that was like the whole big deal of like the extreme couponing was all the like double and triple and quadruple dipping you could do. It was so fun. Man, I clicked on this getting excited thinking that I was about to read Getting a Petty Works Wonders. I'm about to say, oh, you ain't got to tell me twice. Yeah, those things freak me out. I feel like I'm going to drown myself. I've tried before and they kind of give me like weird claustrophobic, you know, feeling a little bit. You know, I don't know. My dad ate something earlier that he's like eats all the time and he said that he felt like a tingling in his mouth. Like we bought some guac from HEB yesterday and like he has an HEB in his town. I mean, from Kerrville where like the original HEB is from. So we have 2 HEBs actually down there, but we have a HEB down here, you know, up here too. So he ended up getting guacamole, you know, the same brand, you know, with the HEB brand, same one he always eats, same size, everything. And his lips started to tingle. I don't know. Maybe all of a sudden we just both developed some weird allergies to something. I have no idea. No idea. User 39. Girl, just wanted to say hi and thank you for your honest heart and opinions. I adore you. Sending the best to you. Well, thank you so much. I'm sending the best to you too. I surely am. I wish nothing but the best for everybody. Even though I have like all these issues with the Goncalveses, I understand how hard it has to be to have lost a child. I'm not stupid. I know how scary it was to have almost lost one, to what I almost lost her to. So I'm not dumb to that. I actually, Silo, I actually recorded a video today just about that. As a matter of fact, I was gonna actually let it out before the live, but me and my dad went to Home Depot to get what I need to get the tire swing put up, and then Slade wanted to cook me some of my Dr. Pepper wings. It was his first time cooking them, so it's gonna be posted in the morning. But they're basically starting to look into a time frame prior. So right now, they said that the bus driver said he dropped them off on 4/29, which was the Tuesday, and then there was no school on the Thursday. No, on the Wednesday, 4:30. And this is about Lily and Jack Sullivan, for those who don't know what we're talking about. Sorry. 4/29 Tuesday, bus driver, no school 4:30. Lily had a cough, therefore neither her nor Jack went to school Thursday. Friday morning, they were reported missing. They're now getting trail cam footage from an area. They're in Canada, so I believe it's kilometers, 18 kilometers or so. I don't know off the top of my head what that is in American miles or whatever, away from where the kids like went missing. Trail cam footage, and they're asking for dates all the way back to April 27th, which would have been Sunday. So either the school like has the kids absent and we didn't know and the bus driver is mistaken, which I don't believe, or they think that maybe somebody had like driven around to certain areas, maybe scoping it out. But then again, this is 18 kilometers away. So I don't know, but that's the only update there is. It's turning into that. There's a bunch of stuff being talked about like on Facebook, you know, like the rumors and stuff. But I don't want to get into all that stuff because we don't have access to really get a lot of true information. Like there's still a bunch of up and down about what was really going on with the biological father in that situation. So yeah, they were babies. They're babies. It's just not looking good. It's not looking good. But that one's like done. It's actually, I think it's edited all the way too. And it's uploaded. I just haven't done a thumbnail yet, but I'm going to release it tomorrow morning. But that's it. Let me try to catch up with everything. Oh, thank you for the $20, Agatha. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's not surprising. I talked to a waitress here in Alabama that lived in Spokane. She said everyone is selling, a lot of selling. Everyone is involved. I believe it, honestly. It's a huge system. I mean, our government is responsible for a lot of the addictions in our own country because of who, they partner with to make money. I really hope they don't either. I want to get to the facts. I want them to have to lay it out. I really do. I really, really do. I don't want this to be pushed back. I know that some people are okay with it, especially since like the tip apparently is like a newer thing and they're still having some issues with some other stuff. And there's more, there's more reasons why they want to push it back. We still have to go through the rest of it. I was going to, record that document today, but then all this stuff happened and it kind of just took my mind off of it. So at some point over the weekend, I'll get the rest of the the legalities, the rights, the constitutional stuff that they're, citing for their reasons for wanting a continuance to. We'll get that document, done and out the way so we have the rest of it as well. But I want the truth. I just want them to have to lay out their case. And, the state leaking this right now, knowing like what could happen isn't surprising. So when it comes to a lot of people's theories that the state is trying to get this like thrown out on purpose, so they don't have to present anything, so it does get dropped, so that all the corruption and all the bullshit doesn't eventually come out. I mean, how am I supposed to act like that's a crazy theory? I don't know. How am I supposed to act like that's a crazy theory? Sounds kind of legit. See, and I don't really know who found the grub truck video. That story has been told 1,000 times. So then we had law enforcement say they found it. Then the Goncalveses said they found it, but they said that they found it because Eric Gower told them about it. So she went and found where it was, but she was led to where it was, if that makes sense, by the Eric Gower guy. But then there was a documentary that was done by a company overseas somewhere. And they ended up interviewing one of Ethan and Xana's friends that actually works for one of the local news stations. He said they found it. I mean, I'm pretty sure that like in that area, everybody kind of knew about that. You live HEB? Yeah, I'm from Kerrville, where the original came from. And oddly enough, I don't really shop there a lot. Kroger's my store. Kroger's my favorite store. Yeah, they like expanded the search area. They tried to look in a couple other places. There's like 3 major spots. They looked. I know that there's like an issue with the dogs. They didn't find anything past the driveway. And that's about it. Yeah, like they found some tiny boot prints, I guess, on some natural gas lines, some feet prints somewhere, but yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Hi, how you doing? How you doing? I mean, I don't try to be. I don't sugarcoat stuff. I mean, honestly, it's something that me and my daughter have butted heads about because like she is kind of like a softer person. And I guess because I just couldn't my whole life. Like honestly, there was never a part in my life where I could just be like my age, even as a young child. So I guess because my life wasn't easy, I don't have the sugar coatedness in me, I guess. I just say how I feel about stuff. It's just how it is. I don't know anything about Summer Wells. I gotta sneeze again. I've really been trying not to. I feel it like it's like building up like right here and then it's going into my like eye socket. It sucks. I've looked into Summer Wells at times and it's been interesting. The way that like certain things come across. I don't really know what to think about Summer Wells. That's a really sad case. There's a lot of messed up stuff in that case. Sebastian is another wild one. The last update that we heard about Sebastian, there was like a guy or a figure in, some sort of hoodie or something that was seen on a camera around midnight. And it was the same one that we had previously heard from SF Investigates, was like something that they had previously missed and they were trying to get information on. And that came out, and that was really sort of like the last thing that I heard. I don't know anything else. There's like nothing. Just like into thin air. It's wild. Yeah. A lot of people apparently are like getting their undies in a bunch. Hey, Willie. It's wild to me. Like, they're not even going after people that are like really saying some horrible stuff. They're going after people who like to talk about what's happened in court, documents. I mean, at least that's how I feel about it. I miss the breakfast tacos. I don't know. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about Maddie's jacket because it does look like they picked it up. Now, what I heard is that it doesn't look like from the photos that they actually like bagged it, tagged it, did whatever to it. A lot of people think that they just like left it there. What I have come to understand from like, just listening to a whole bunch of different things is that they did pick it up and they did put it back down, but then they went to go get something to like bag it. So they put it back down, I guess, so they could like take pictures and stuff of it pretty much in the same place that they had, picked it up from for the majority, I guess. But then they did end up taking it in, as far as I'm understanding. I mean, I really do, like, as honest as I can. I mean, I just don't see the need to that too. Like, I just don't see the need to be like soft and sweet about something that is so detrimentally tragic and horrible and real. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, Aunt B. Hey, Aunt B. So I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't see that. Like I say, I don't go and like deep dive their social media or deep dive into their families or any of those things. I don't see the need for that until I see a need for it. I have to see a need for it. Yeah, I feel like if a lot of stuff we know would stop being sugar coated so much, then maybe there wouldn't be so much insanity because people would see things for what they really are. You know what I mean? Oh, 1 second. You say shout cabbages? Shout cabbages. Someone told me before that if you look up at the sun, it makes you like stop sneezing. Well, it's nighttime, so I guess I can't do that. But isn't that like bad for your eyes? I don't really know how to like stop a sneeze. Like, I've kind of like massaged my nose before because it's like really just like in your nerve endings. So I've kind of just like massaged my right here before to like make it stop. I just feel like my eyes are gonna pop out of my head. No sugar. It's gonna be bland. It's gonna smell like just nothingness, just flour and salt. That's wild. Oh no, wow, really? So you probably hear all kind of crazy stuff. Yeah, you probably hear all kinds of crazy stuff. Well, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I try to. I fixed that dishwasher that one time. I was pretty proud of myself. Okay, guys. Yeah, this was just to shoot the shit really for a little while about all the crazy stuff from today because you can't help but kind of like laugh about stuff. Hey there, Jacqueline, how you doing? I know, and I mean, I already have like a stalker in real life, so I mean, he's probably slowed down. I'm sure he's in the shadows or some shit because, Hmm. Okay. I'm going to go and I'm going to try to drink some tea. Maybe the heat will like expand my sinuses or something. I don't know what's going on. But my eye feels like all puffy. Thank you for the 1999, 1,000 Julys. Hey, warrior woman, you sound like you're coming down with a cold. I know. Take care of yourself and rest. Haha. If you look at the sun, it makes you sneeze. It makes you sneeze? Okay, see, yeah, the opposite. Okay, it's hitting you 11 hugs. Thank you. I know. It was like 6:30. Me and my dad were coming back from town. I turned into a neighborhood, and then all of a sudden, like, this half of my face is like, it's very much like on my nerves. I feel it everywhere. Y'all have a great night. Thank you for spending your Friday with me and talking about this wild stuff. I can't believe some people are so wild. Absolutely insane. Just because you don't like the way that I, give my opinion doesn't mean that I'm, a liar. And just because I retweet something about something that already happened doesn't mean that I sent people to go and do the thing that already happened. That doesn't make any logical sense. That was the whole basis for all of this. I am going to go to sleep. Melatonin tea. No, not melatonin. The lavender tea. I can't actually use melatonin at all. It makes me feel hungover the next morning. It literally gives me a migraine. Like I wake up with a headache. Even off 2 milligrams of melatonin. It sucks. But the lavender tea and the magnesium, that's definitely happening. Again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the super stickers, the super chats. Thank you for the people that have been here for so long and that are members and have shown so much support throughout all of this time and know that we're here for truth and facts and realness. And yes, we might speculate and we might talk about things and we might have opinions, but we try to make sure that all that speculation and everything that we theorize about and everything that we talk about is based on the facts, based on the things that we know are going to be actually talked about in court, based on the things that we are being told by the court, based on the court documents, on the hearings, not just based off of things that we just make up out of nowhere. And we try to make sure that we have receipts as much as possible. I don't see how that's a bad thing. I just don't. So thank you so much for being here and actually loving the fact that facts matter. I appreciate all of you so very much. And you know what? Honestly, the victims do too. The victims do too. Let's be for real. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships, Miller Time. 10 gifted memberships. Congratulations to those who ended up getting those. I'm going to go ahead and do my little ending pieces right here. Please not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. Okay, you guys have a great night. See y'all.